to Education Updates on Independent Television. My name is Gabriel Zachary, and of course it's that time of the year where you will begin to look inwards. It's the last month in the year, and from the beginning of the first month to the last month, you begin to take assessment in as far as this program is concerned, education, what went down. You know, at least it is a year that would say that we may have achieved some gains or lost in the education sector. All this we shall be looking at in this edition of the Education Update. And of course, what better time to do that than the first program in the last month of 2023. And just as the year was rounding off, there is another important event took place in the education sector, and I'm talking of the election of the leaders, if you like, or representative of the National Association of Nigerian Student Nans, and it took place right here in the heart of Abuja, and they have new leaders now, and this was a body that has come a long way, and it has been a body that it's formed to unite students across the country, you know. And if you were a student some decades ago, the body, you agree with me, was strong and versatile, you know. But how is it today? And the whole hula baloo, you know, that characterized that election. And in this program, I have the Senate President, not the one in the National Assembly, but the one of National Association of Nigerian Students. I have the Senate President. We are going to throw light on some of these issues in tertiary institution. So I'm glad to introduce Akinte Babatunde Afis, the Nans Senate President. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Okay, good to be here too. And let's begin. What are your roles as the Senate President of Nans? You know, a lot of people, you usually look to the national president, you know, but when they say you are the Senate President of Nans, what does that mean?
As the Senate President of Nans, I am meant to protect and defend the constitution of the association, and also monitor closely activities of all the SUG presidents in this country. So all the SUG presidents in all the institutions in this country are members of the Senate. So I am their president, which means any activities that is going on in any of those campuses, I have the responsibility to be aware, to work hand in hand with the president. Those ones they can attend to themselves, we should let them attend to it and encourage them. And those ones that they cannot, we should go in and move in and help them attend to it. All in all, just to make sure that the welfareism of our students are well taken care of and their interests are always protected from time to time.
All right, we're going to come to the area of the interest, you know, the interest of the students. But we also heard that your election was marked by a lot of irregularities. Do you agree with that?
If you use the word irregularities, I will not agree with that. Yes, there was some little violence, but when you are talking of irregularities, no. It is not election. We know how we have been doing it and know how we've done it. When the election was going on at the venue, there was no crisis, there was no fight. The little thing that happened before the accreditation would begin, and the security agencies, they came on board and they maintained orderliness. And when the orderliness have maintained, we went back for our accreditation. It was done, and the election was done. So during the process, before the process started, there were issues which the security agencies came in and they maintained peace and orderliness before accreditation started, before we proceed to the election proper.
Okay, but why is it that there's so much rancor? If the election was to select, you know, or pick people who are supposed to look, you know, after the interest of students. Why the rancor? Where it has almost becoming, a trademark of Nans election.
Many people are not Democrats, and many people want to win always. So the trait of I must win, I have to win by force, that some student leaders have possessed in them, is why you see some of these things happening. Some people think it is their birthright to become this, to become the president, to become the Senate president, to become the vice president. They believe if it is not going their way, they must get it by force. And it is not supposed to be so. And that is why you see that during the election, there are always issues like that. When you are coming to cheat this person, the person is coming and he doesn't want to take cheating. So issues like that will come up. So it depends on the stakeholders and the leaders of the organization to bring everybody together and discuss and find a way out, and in conjunction with the security agencies. And that is it. If everybody can come up on the open notes, be a Democrat, what does it take? Bring your senators to ground, accredit your senators free, and go into the convention and do your election. If you win, fine. If you lose, you congratulate the winner and you learn and you move forward. So, but many of those involved are not Democrats, so they take the election as if it is more than NAS election, and that's why you are always seeing those crises during the election.
All right, more than NAS election, but do you also agree with the opinion of many that the association itself, is the shadow of its past? The kind of pressure association it was, even in the past, even the government of the day, when you say Nans, they are afraid of that association because you were able to form, a pressure group that would speak against some government policies that relates to students and even some economic issues.
You see, let me be sincere with you. The government are still afraid of Nans. Both the JCC level, the zonal level, and the national level. There is no time till now that Nans will say we are going on rampage, we want to protest, we want to do this and shut this down, that they will not call. If they don't have that fear, if they are not afraid of what Nans will do, they will just leave you and just do what you want to do and go back and sleep. Yes, there are issues in the organization that we need to solve. If Jesus can have 12 disciples and there is one betrayer, definitely there will be people that will be sabotaging some of our efforts for reasons best known to them. But there are still many people in this organization that take the organization as if their life depends on it. They do their thing in the way that if this is what is right, they stand by it. This current administration that just left, I happen to be the vice president, external affairs, and there are a lot of struggles that if you should go online now, you will see them that we did in the name of NAS. Part of it is the ASU strike. I was one of those that shuts down the international airport in this country just last administration over the continuous ASU strike. When our students were in Sudan, we led the struggle and we called the attention of NIDCOM to it to bring our students home during the crisis in Sudan. Many struggles like that. But you see many people, yes, we have issues. NAS as it is now, it is not an organization funded by anybody. So it is you as a comrade that will know how you want to do your activities. If I am going from here now to Lagos, from Lagos to Kaduna to Sokoto, anywhere, me and those that will go together, they are my responsibility.
You see, I said that because, in some tertiary institutions, the arbitrary increase, in tuition fees, here and there, you see the other areas, people will just stand up, and it's as if it's freedom for the governance of tertiary institution, and then the NAS, your association seems to have kept quiet all this while. Are you happy with the state of the public tertiary institution as it is today?
We are not happy because it is obvious that tertiary education institution, they are underfunded, and we've raised our voice against that fund education properly. There is a UNESCO quota that said if there is budget here, is a quota that UNESCO said they should be given to education. A percentage will be given to education. But I don't think if we've made that. I think the last time we made the highest percentage on education budget in this country was 2015. Maybe 15% of the whole budget was given to education. So education are underfunded. And if you are talking about increment, there has never been any time there's an increment that will keep quiet. But you see, many people does not know how this organization work. There are situations whereby we will get to a campus and we want to agitate on the level of increment. And we'll be seeing traces that even the local union of that school have started down with the management to have an agreement. And we as a NAS body, NAS national body, if we are coming on the campus and the management are showing us some facts and figures and seeing this, if the students on campus are not ready to fight, they are not ready to agitate, how can we force them to? Imagine I move down to a campus with about 100 or 150 of my people, we go there, that we are not students of that campus. If the students are saying they don't want us to protest, they don't want us to agitate, there is nothing we can do. For instance, Unilag, when Unilag increment happened, we called for a protest. The national PRO then was...
All right, but you are the Senate President and you oversee the affairs of some of these unions, in these campuses.
Yes.
And the sanctions. Can't you people speak as one body? And then you punish people who would decide to break the ranks. You understand? So don't you have a hierarchy that they should listen to?
There is an hierarchy now. The number one hierarchy in this organization is the NAS president. And after the NAS president,
would anybody go contrary to what he says?
Yeah, if he says this, everybody are meant to obey, even to the level of the smallest student on campus. So if he says this, we go by it. After the NAS president, we have the Senate president, then we go to the national ESCOs, the zonal coordinators, the JCC chairman, before the SUG president. So now, one thing we just came on board just last week, and one thing we are bringing and one thing we are trying to do now is to make sure that there is time-to-time communication between we and the SUG president. Even if the management are calling you to any meeting that has to do with things that will affect the students, especially on the issue of school fees, invite us and we will be there with you in the meeting, so that you will not make agreement or decision that will affect the student leader. And that is what we are pushing, and that is what we are bringing on board now. There is going to be more communication. We are going to bring those two SUG presidents closer, and we'll discuss with them time to time and know what is happening on their campus, so that we can go when we need to go, so that we can act when we need to act.
How has your relationship been with the Academic Staff Union of Universities?
And we have a good relationship with them. At least their last struggle, to a good extent, we supported them. But when it was getting to a level that we could not take it anymore, we decided not to support both the federal government or the ASU again. We face our issue ourselves. So most of the time when they are having issues, when they are with texting, we support the ASU most of the time, because we believe some of the agitation are things that are affecting with the students on our own. So they agitate for some things that when it is done, it is going to affect us positively. So we cannot take the side of the government against them. But when the agitation is getting to a level that it is affecting us, then we always meet them and discuss with them that please, let us do it this way. And that has been the relationship.
All right, they also say that you people live the life of bourgeois.
The life of
bourgeoisie is, routine of security, around you, when actually you're supposed to be accessible. And then it's a student union association, and you should be accessible, but some of you move with routine of securities and all that.
If I want to move now, for instance, I am going to a state like, let me say, Rivers, like I'm going to Rivers State now, I'm going to Lagos State. It is proper if I'm going there, I go with people. Some people might think they are, some of the people I'm even going with might be some of the ESCOs, might be some of the stakeholders in the state, might be the JCC members. But when you see us, you will think maybe you have come with some security. But to some extent, campus, you know what campus is. If you are going to some campuses, you don't just go. You have to go with capacity to know, yes, the Senate President of Nans is here, or the president of NAS is here. But when it comes to being accessible, I don't think if there is any executive of NAS that will be too big to give his number out to the students, or to pick their calls, or to reply chats from time to time. I just told you I was a former VP external before this election, and it was an open door relationship with the students. If there's anything, you message me, I will reply. You call, we will attend to you. So that has been the way we have been operating. And now if there's anybody that is operating in the way as if it's not open to the student, that is his own character.
All right. I will not let you go without, have you looked into the present administration's loan scheme for students?
Loan scheme, yes.
What's your take on it?
You see, me as a person, right from onset, I support the loan scheme. Because I was the vice president of the last administration, and when the loan scheme came, I supported it. Do you know why? There is this loan company that is a private loan company. They call them Press Pay. So you see, this Press Pay give loans out to students, and as we are talking, the way we are advertising for them, we are telling our students, many students are coming to get loan from them. You understand? Students are coming to get loan from them to pay their tuition fee. And we have seen students that 3,000 is problem for. We've seen some that 5,000. You see, you just need to go to the grassroots. So we have issues with some qualification of that scheme. What will make you qualify for it? We had issues with it. When we met the president, we told him, and he said he is going to send it back to the National Assembly, that we should go there. And during the public hearing, we went there, we told them, because if you want a student, you said the loan is meant to target the poor of the poorest. If you want the poor of the poorest to get a loan, where do you want them to get the level 13 officer from? Where do you want them to get a level 10 lawyer? So those things are the problem we have with it. But the loan scheme, if truly the federal government are serious and they are genuine about it, if it will be monitored, because that is the problem we have in this country, we support it. Those that need the loan, let them have it. Not that the loan should be given to those that does not even need it. Let those that need the loan, let them have it. And the federal government have said that they want to get it back. It's not going to be a burden to students right on campus. If you are getting that loan for the next 5 years or for 4 years, you will get it till you graduate. So if it is not going to be difficult to get, if the qualifications are not too bogus, it is a good one and we support it.
Well, beyond the bottlenecks of how to get the loan, don't you think the federal government of Nigeria has the capacity, to provide scholarship instead of loan, and even give bursaries to students free without looking forward to paying back? Because a lot of people say these students may even leave the tertiary institutions and will not be employed, readily, or the moment they leave the institution. How would they pay these loans?
And those are the questions we also asked. If a student is leaving the institution and is not getting job and is not doing anything, how do you want them to pay the loans? The federal government should sort that themselves. But we told them you are not going to start forcing or harassing people that doesn't. Even if you see someone that does not have a job, do you want them to pay? You see, after our election, our first press conference, we appealed to the federal government to give bursary of 200,000 yearly to all Nigerian students. That there should be a bursary scheme from the federal government of 200,000 yearly to all Nigerian students. We appeal for that, and I think there are some scholarship that is also been done by the federal government. But you see, those scholarships cannot go around. If you want scholarship now, there are qualifications for it. So scholarship are meant for first-class students.
What I'm saying is that it's the Nigerian government capable, of doing that without, any problems.
Of doing the loan.
Do we have the resources?
This country, if you have the will, there is definitely a way. For instance, look at this Ministry of Interior. We have always been having the problem of passports, this and that. And the minister came in After how many months? Look at the changes. You apply for passport now, before you know, you get your passport. Is it still not in this same Nigeria where you have to wait for 3-4 months before you get it? So if the loan is coming on board, before the president will say he is doing a student loan, he knows the situation he met, he knows the resources we have, he knows the capacity of this of the federal government. So if they are giving a loan to students and he said he wants to do it, mine is not to start telling them they don't have the capacity. Mine is that they should make sure that it succeeds. Ours is to monitor that it succeeds. Ours is to talk to our students and let them act responsibly. If you don't need the loan, don't go for it. And the loan is not even, he said not to be given to students directly in cash. It will be paid directly to school as your school fees. So our own interest now is not if they have the money to give, because we know they have. Our interest is student wants the loan, let it go around to everybody that wants to get the loan. And there should be a goodwill. People you will put in charge of this should be people that have the interest and they are God-fearing, that can do this successfully. If people in charge are serious and they really want this to work, it will work. This country, it will work. So that's all that.
Okay, that is that. And the funding of tertiary institution, you said that in person. What do you think is the major or the problem in the funding of tertiary institutions?
You see, tertiary institutions now, there are some institutions that they generate IGR themselves. Just like the last time we met the Vice Chancellor of UNILAG, she told us that what they are generating is not even enough to pay for their electricity fee in 6 months. And now they also have the problem of some staff working in Lagos are getting same salary with staff working in Benue when the living conditions are different. The federal government, the major problem of funding education is from the federal government. If the federal government is interested in funding education, IGRs to school must be increased. Increase the IGR. Monitor the IGR. Because you see, some of these schools you are seeing also, they are also corrupt. When you call them for auditing, or when you start talking of auditing, that is when you know what is going on in some institution. I met with Baba Lola. He told me some of his experience when he was in UNILAG. And those things still continues. The corruption in the country is not just the federal government. If the federal government is funding and they are monitoring it, we will not have problem. So the biggest thing, or
as one of the key stakeholders, how do you ensure that there will be proper scrutiny, check in this regard, your voice to be heard?
That is it now. If the federal government is running a transparency process, for instance, I'm giving this school the total amount of 2 billion naira for this month or for this year. Now, after giving them, you set up a mechanism of auditing. And in the process of setting a mechanism of auditing, involve student leaders. Involve student leaders, just like what TED Fund have decided to start doing now. TED Fund have decided to incorporate Nans in monitoring projects that they have awarded on campus. So if you have awarded a project to you, you can just see student leaders come to the project one day and ask questions. If you are not doing your project, they will come back and report to TED Fund. So the federal government, if you are giving this total amount to school, make sure that there is mechanism to checkmate those things. The money you are giving to the school, there should be a mechanism of auditing and to checkmate them. When those mechanisms are in place, it will be difficult for people to embezzle. Even if they will, it won't be just as it is now.
I can tell Babatunde Afis, the Nans Senate President, I must thank you sincerely for coming to the program. And you agree with me, there's so much to talk about when it comes to the Nans, your association in relationship with the development of tertiary education in the country.
Yes.
So thank you for coming for the program. That's about the size of education update for this week. Until we come your way again with another topic, remain blessed.